gorgeous people. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. How are you feeling? Welcome to the morning show. I am your host, Marli Ansel at Marli Ansel on the Instagrams. And this is the morning show where you come to get your daily dose of inspiration and level up into your highest being. It is all about real life, but we make it magical. And there is so much to talk about. So let's dive in. Happy Tuesday. How are you guys feeling? Monday was very Monday, was it not? How is your Tuesday morning? Did you wake up feeling amazing? So, today we're going to be talking about how being delusional, we've seen this trend, right? Like delulu, I'm delusional. We're going to break it down today. How being delusional actually works when it comes to manifesting the things that you want. And I'm going to introduce you to a very simplistic but powerful method that can help you in being your highest delusional self and creating everything that you want. But before we dive in, let's talk about those cosmos. Let's talk about what's going on in the stars right now. And today, I am stay-at-home mom vibes today because both of the kids are off school for a teacher work day. So I have my preteens upstairs blasting some pop music. If you happen to hear some Olivia Rodrigo or Taylor Swift in the background, this is the stage of life that we're at. So fun. So right now we're moving into towards the new moon in Pisces. This is kind of the big energy rev up that we're moving into. So the new moon in Pisces is going to kick off our eclipse season. Does not mean that the eclipse is happening on the new moon. What I mean is that it is now going to initiate us into the eclipses that are coming. So we have a lunar eclipse that's happening on March 25th, and then we're going to have a solar eclipse happening on April 8th. Which, by the way, if you live in the US, you're going to get to see it. Like, let's go. It's coming across the US. I think Texas is 100% coverage, but if you're in the East Coast like me, it's like 80%. So we're going to get to see a really good bit of this solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse is huge. This is April 8th in the sign of Aries. This solar eclipse is a big change energy. So if you don't know, eclipses are like massive, sudden, disruptive change. Now, if we get on the global political scale, that can be absolutely terrifying. So we stay out of that bubble and we stay in our bubble. But it's going to initiate something that really needs to happen. And Aries is the warrior sign. It's also the first sign of the zodiac. And this is happening just a few weeks after the spring equinox. So we have the astrological new year of the spring equinox happening. And then we have a solar eclipse that is essentially forcing change into play. Do with that what you will, but be ready. Amen. Okay, so today we're talking about how being delusional actually works. And, is it actually a good thing? Is being delusional actually a good thing? Because I know like when we think about being delusional, what does it do? It very much challenges that part of our brain that relies on logic, that relies on fitting into normal society, even though normal society may not be very happy, may not be thriving, may not be living their best lives. We still have that part of ourselves that feels like we need to fit in with that. But we're going to talk about this energy. I'm going to give you some stories about my own life and how this has played out. And I'm going to introduce to you a method that will help you kind of loosen up any rigidity, I can't say the word, you know what I mean, that you may have around not allowing yourself to go there. So, delusional essentially means like you're out of touch with reality, right? Which is why we can be like, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if that's a good thing. But here, normal society ain't normal, right? Oh my God. Amber, we don't even have time for that today. We don't even have time for that. But truly. I just realized that my mug matches my shirt. And my pants are the same color. I'm so monochromatic. You are correct. Gosh, I'm like, do we want to talk about that? Let's just say this really quickly. Normal society has gone so far off of what is natural, what is our connection to nature, the way that we are meant to be built, the way that we are meant to live as happy, healthy humans. Normal society has gone so veered off the pathway of that, which is why we see the majority of our society is sick, burnt out, overwhelmed, and not thriving because everything has shifted so far over to where people are completely disconnected from our natural way. I saw this meme the other day. It wasn't the other day, it was like 6 months ago, but it has stayed with me. And it said, we live on a planet that literally grows food. How did we get so effed up that I have a credit score? And I was like, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? We have veered so far off of our natural way. Hi, Erica. Good morning. That we're living in this made up world that we have concocted. It's not natural. It's not truth. It's not normal. You know what normal would be? Normal would be realizing that we grow our own food, realizing that connecting with nature is the pathway to all of our power, realizing that we are soul in a human experience and that our measurement of our worthiness was never in question. Okay, we're gonna go back to the subject. So, Erica said, my mom says that a lot. Can be 2 days to 6 years ago. Truly, time is weird. So we're talking today about being delusional and how 100% it can help you with your manifestations. But like all things, there's a higher and a lower to everything. So when we think about being delusional, essentially the definition of delusion is disconnected from reality, disconnected from what's right in front of you. So now there is a healthy version of that, and there's a not so healthy version of that. Obviously, we can see the not so healthy version pretty clearly, but I think, and you tell me, this is how it lands on me, when you're really going after something that the rest of the world, or at least your environment, your society that you grew up in or that you're around, would never do, or they think it's crazy to do, it can make you question yourself a lot. So you might feel very called and pulled towards something that is completely out of the norm of your family, of your environment, your society. If you're in a career, things that these people would never do. And so it can make you question yourself, even though you feel this call, this pull. It's like, I know it's crazy, but like, I feel like I gotta do it. I have to do it. So I think first we have to assess is that most people are not living in alignment with the opportunity to thrive. Most people are not. Most people are living in fear. And most people are basing all of their actions on survival. So first of all, we've got two things here. We've got basic survival, which is necessary, and then we have thriving, which is the it's like the realm of the soul, creation. It's like who are you once all your needs are met and you're not fearing that anymore? Who are you after that? Because that's when you really start to get to know yourself. That's when you start to come alive, come online, see what you can create in this world. But most people never get past this survival point, mostly because the programming that they've grown up with is I have to check these boxes or I'm going to die in some way. Or they have all of the things, they've met their survival needs, but they're fearing going outside of the norm, outside of the pack that runs together. So, if you feel a call on your soul to do something that you've never seen done before, or at least not in your small circle of people, that call is calling you beyond the survival realm. It's calling you to this level of life that you are meant to create on this pathway. But here is where your personal power and your courage has to be built. Because if you are wavering in any part of your own personal power, your confidence in knowing in who you are, then it's very, very easy for even the stranger on the internet to be like, "Oh, you think you can do that? That's funny." And then it'll knock you off your pedestal, right? So the first thing that we have to develop as we're starting to think about, being and doing something beyond the norm, beyond what you have seen done before, is your own personal power. And when I say personal power, that starts with I know who I am. Mm. We hear this a lot. Like we hear, know yourself, know who you are, but really sit with it for a second because these are phrases that you can glaze over that actually hold so much power. Do you know who you are? Do you know that you are here to create something more than just what you've seen in the past, than just the like check the boxes of survival and hopefully get by until you die? Are you willing to settle for that? Well, it's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not willing to settle for that at all. So, first and foremost, you got to build that solid foundation within yourself. 100%, this is the way. And then that is going to allow you to have a very solid foundation as you go into your delusion era. So, the way that I view delusion in the way that is actually healthy, is you feel the call to create something more. You can see the vision in your mind. Everyone else around you is not doing this. That's where we start to second guess ourselves. That's where we start to question ourselves. But if you can see it so clearly and it excites you, it elates everything in you, you have to first and foremost trust that energy. There's there's a mentor that I follow online, and one of the things that she has said that has just stayed with me is that God did not mess up when he put the desires of your heart in you. Like, it's not a mistake that you love what you love. It's not a mistake that you feel called to something more than just what you see around you. But in order to go after that, you got to know who you are. You can't be wavering and questioning yourself. You got to know who you are. So that's our foundation that we build. The second step, and I'm going to highly recommend this, is don't talk about it. Don't talk about it with people who don't get it. Like, how often do we make this mistake? And this will show, it will point you right back to the part of you that's looking for approval. Don't talk about your dreams with people who don't get it. Don't do it. Only talk about your dreams with people who get it. Only talk about your dreams with people who will encourage you to go after it. Don't talk about it with people who are small minded, who can't see past their own survival, because it's just going to dishearten you. Do you know what I mean? So let me tell you a story. When I first decided that I was going to start this business, that I was going to start the coaching business, the personal development brand, I was going to start teaching people the stuff that I knew and had seen just magic and miracles get worked in my own life. I didn't tell anybody. Like, I was showing up on the internet for perfect strangers and did not tell a soul in my circle. How funny, right? I just started showing up online. Did I have the nerves? 100%. 100%. And it's so funny. One of the things that I always thought about was like, what are my cousins going to think? And it's really hilarious that it was even a thought because I don't even talk to my cousins. Like, I see them maybe once every 5 years. But I decided that I was going to create something outside of the norm. I was working in the corporate job, very successful, making near six figures in this corporate job, but I knew that it wasn't the job for me. I was literally, do you guys want to know what I did? It's kind of hilarious because it's not spiritual at all. I was an online merchandise manager for the department of rugs and home decor. So I was the one who was in charge of making sure that all of the products looked good on the site, the online site. That was my job. Whatever. So I knew that that wasn't for me because my soul was slowly dying. And that's another thing to actually really understand. We know that we need food, water, shelter for our human to survive. But for our soul to survive, we need creativity. We need creation. We need something that lights us up, that we go after, that we've never done before. And without that, no, you will not see health effects as quickly as if you didn't have food, water, or shelter, but it will slowly kill you. I'm 100%. If you do not have something that lights your soul, that brings you to this level of creation. Creation is the energy of God. Like, it is our connection to the divine. It will slowly, and you know it. You ever done something for a little while longer than you should have that you did not love, that felt like it was slowly killing your soul from the inside out? Like, it will. So, all the same, back to the story. So I started, I just had the thought of like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna start teaching this stuff online. How is it gonna work? What is it gonna look like? I have no idea. This is where that delusion comes in. So delusion meaning it's something you've never done before. You don't even know how it's gonna work, but you know it's what you've got to do. This is where we start to touch the magic. Now, what I will say is be a smart human. Don't put yourself in survival chasing your delusional dream. You feel me on that? Get yourself in a really steady, beautiful place so that you can create what you want to create in silence, meaning in your own time. While you're creating these things behind the scenes, you're not worried about what people are going to think. You're not, because you're not talking with them about it to try to get their approval. So I started building my business before I ever told anyone about it. At most, what I would say is, I can't tonight. I'm working on my business. And that was it. I wouldn't share anything else, not even the guy I was dating at the time. I didn't tell my parents, nothing. I just started doing it. And as I started doing it, I started doing the things that just felt like the thing to do. I felt called to it. So I started building a website. I started showing up online, doing these little short videos, just teaching powerful lessons of the day. I just started to do the things that I knew to do. And there is a literal magic with this method. When you start just doing what you know to do, it moves mountains in your favor. It is like it activates some mechanism in the universe where everything starts shifting to support what you're doing. It is the coolest power that we have, but you have to do it wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? You can't be like, I have this huge dream vision, and then you do one thing and it doesn't happen and you're like, "Oh, I give up." That's not personal power. That is power based on a condition. And we have to get to a place where we know our power regardless of what's happening around us, regardless of what people are saying, regardless of the circumstance. You've got to know who you are, and you got to know what you're going after, and you got to believe in it with all of you. So we have personal power and belief. And then all of that is just wrapped up in self love, because you've decided my life is worth more than just surviving. My life is worth more than checking the boxes of a society approval. My life is worth more than that. I have something I want to do. I have something I want to be. I have something I want to create. And so when you start really connecting to that and getting in touch with that, that's bravery, is it not? That's courage, because the majority of people in the world will not do that. And that's why you don't see so many people succeeding in a creative endeavor. It's not because they don't have the talent, it's not because they don't have the capability, but inside they don't have that courage built in knowing who they are and deciding what they're going to create. They've put so much of their measurement of life in the opinions of other people that it stops them before they ever start. So you have to know who you are. Personal power at a level that is completely like illogical. Like, you got to believe and know who you are in a radical way, like radical self belief. And especially when it comes to your vision for your life, because that's between you and the divine. That is so sacred. Do you know what I mean? That is so sacred. That is not subject to approval from anyone. It's already been approved, like stamped and approved. The pathway has already been made. Your job is just to walk it. So, delusion means cut out everyone else's idea of what they think you should be. 100%, right? Because you know in your heart what you are meant to do. You know who you're meant to be. You know the life that you're meant to live. And so you can't allow the opinions of people around you to tell you who you are or to tell you what you're meant to do because that's going to throw you off. So you have to know who you are in this. So when we're thinking about like what just lights your whole soul and you want to go after and you start to doubt. Because we're human and we love to do this, do we not? You want to bring in the why not method. This is so simple, but it's so powerful. When you think about something that you feel you are meant for, that you want to manifest, that you feel like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing if that happened. And then you feel the doubt come in. You feel the part of you that's like, I'm not good enough for that. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not whatever enough for that. When that pops in, all you need to do is go, but why not? Why not? Other people do it. Other people have done it. There are people in this world who have created something similar. Why not? I remember when I was in college, I wanted to I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was a kid. I just always loved clothes and color and like the creativity of these like extravagant things. And I wanted to be a fashion designer. Turns out I don't like sewing. So that went out the window. But I remember being in college and I understood that all it takes is one foot in front of the other. Why not me? Why wouldn't I do that? If I have the passion for something and I have the call to something, why wouldn't I do it? Do you know what I mean? And I remember my roommate in college at the time, she's now one of my best friends in the whole world. But I remember her pointing out to me how how cool it was that I believed in it. That I believe but for me it was so simple. It was just like people do this, people pursue this all the time. If I know that I can do it, if I'm good at it, and I just move towards it, why not me? It was like, why wouldn't it be supported? Why wouldn't God be in support of me bringing creation in some way to the world? It's like, of course it's supported, right? So then when I started this business, and I didn't tell anybody about it. I was just building it for months and months and months behind the scenes, not talking about it. There is some energetic science to this as well. When you talk about something too much before it's ready, it like disperses the energy. It like loses its potency. Do you know what I mean? It's the difference between like a river that's rushing through a canyon where it's contained and there being no canyon and the water is just everywhere, right? There's a potency to it when you keep it to yourself until it's ready. And I'm a huge fan of don't speak it until it is seen. Like let it speak for itself. Pursue what it is that you know that you're meant to do in silence. And, if you want to talk to your best friend about it because it makes you really, really excited and that feels really good, sure. You see what I'm saying? But I built this business behind the scenes before anybody ever knew anything about it. And I started showing up online. I didn't show up online and say, I have a business now. Hi. I showed up online and I did what I felt called to do, teaching powerful lessons, teaching the work that had changed my life so much. I just started showing up and doing, literally doing what I wanted to do. And in that, the business started to build itself. And before I knew it, I had an audience. I had people that were asking me questions. And then I had people who were wanting to come into my world for coaching. So it was this organic build because I took the time behind the scenes to build it up, did not speak it to people who I didn't want to explain myself. I didn't even feel like I had the words to explain what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? You know how you can feel something, but you can't put it into words sometimes? That's where I was at. And so I was like, well, I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm just going to do it. And as I did it, mountains are moved in your favor. I cannot emphasize this enough. Mountains are moved in your favor when you make a powerful decision and then you take action towards that decision. Mountains are moved to make it so. Everything shifts in your favor when you start to do this. So, delusion is remove your need for other people to approve of it. Remove your thought of what other people's opinions are about what you should be doing. Build that personal power from within because you know what God has called you to. You know what your path is, and you don't need to speak it to anybody. Don't speak it. Let it speak for itself. You can say what you're doing, like an example, guy I was dating at the time, "Do you wanna go out on Friday night?" I was like, "No, I can't. Working my business." And he just let it be. He was just like, "Alright, cool, whatever." You know? Do things like that and then let it speak for itself when it comes to be, because it will. Surely, it will come to be, and then you can bask in the life that you've created for yourself. Does this make sense? What a good delusional Tuesday. And one of the best things to do is just the why not, and just really understand that anybody who has ever created anything great is just a natural, normal human who pursued their dream and who didn't allow other people to make them question themselves. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. We're human. We're going to question ourselves. But just come back to your truth. How quickly can you return to your truth? How quickly can you return to your vibration instead of tapping into other people's vibration and their opinions and their thoughts of what you should be doing? Do you know what I mean? So now I've created this business, and now I've been at this like, what's next phase of my life? Like, I'm always going to have my own business. There is no world where I can work for someone else. That's just it. But there are new things that I want to create. There's new ideas that are coming in. There's new visions that are starting to come online. And so we're doing it again. But you can be sure I won't talk about it until I'm ready. All right, my loves, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. If this show has resonated with you, please share on your social media, tag me so I can reshare you, or share with a friend, a family member, someone that you feel like would really, really benefit from the topics that we talk about on the show. It helps us to grow the show, helps us to increase our impact, and do all the things, the likes and the subscribes and all of those beautiful things that help us to get in and tell the algorithm that we're here. I have a brand new container that's opening. So I have decided to open a mastermind that is a mastermind with private coaching. In this mastermind, it's going to start on the spring equinox and it is going to go for the rest of the year. And inside this container, we are going to be intentionally building your personal power. We're going to be working on the attributes that make you unwaverable, unfuckwithable. The things that build you into that steady, grounded, I know who I am version of myself so that you can create whatever it is that you are here to create. Create the dream into reality. Be unwavering amidst people who are unsure about what you're doing. To know who you are, to build who you are, and to become that next level version that you can see in your mind. So, this mastermind container is huge. It is going to start in just a couple of weeks and it's going to go through the end of the year. So if you have been interested in working with me, coming into my work, and you want to do it in a really massive, monumental, life-changing way, send me a message and I'll give you the details on on what this is all about and if it's a right fit for you. It is going to be a mastermind call, and then there is 2 private coaching calls per month that come with it. Really massive. I'm so, so excited about it. If that interests you, you can reach out to me directly. And I hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. All right, my loves, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. We have our Friday Q&A coming up. If you would like to send a question into the show, you can email me at assistant@marliansel.com, or you can send me a direct message on any of the socials that we're friends on. I love you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode of The Morning Show. Goodbye, my loves.